Alright, so we got the auction car in the garage now, and we're going to address the P0010 first. It's pretty common on this 2.4 liter 4-cylinder. So we'll take a look and we'll do some diagnostics on it to see if we can rule that out as to whether or not it's good or bad. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the hood and get the engine cover off, but I'll bring you along for that, and then we'll start testing with the multimeter. Alright, we got the hood open and we are trying to get to the cam solenoids. What we need to do is remove this engine cover. To do that, really all we need to do is unclip these right here. The mass airflow sensor connector needs to be undone. And then there's a clamp that goes around the throttle body that's right under here. I'll show you that real quick. Maybe right through here you can see the bolt. I'll slide this in here just so you can see right there. Maybe you can see where, like I can, right there. So put this in reverse. Take the oil cap off. And I forgot the PCV hose right here. Alright, so this whole assembly can come off. Right here we are looking for the intake, and maybe you can see right here it says INT, and then over here EXT. So we've got the exhaust cam solenoid and the intake cam solenoid, and this is the one that the computer is telling us we're having issues with. So I'm going to do a diagnostic on this, and basically all we're going to do, we're going to unplug it and we're going to test resistance on these two wires right. Alright, here you can see we've got the meter set to resistance, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to check these two terminals right in here, and these are supposed to be between 8 and 12 ohms. And just to give you an idea, when you put these together, that should be about 0 ohms, which is a direct short. And what you want to do is put one of these on each pin. There's only 2 pins in here. And then we're reading 2.5 milliohms, which means this is basically an open circuit. Let's go ahead and check the exhaust side. And like I said, it should be between 8 and 12. It's kind of hard to tell when you're on it. On and on. Alright, so this one's reading 14.5. So I do have both the exhaust and the intake cam solenoids, and as you can see here, it's a 10mm bolt and a 10mm bolt. So let's go ahead and take a look at the new ones. I'm going to go ahead and check both of those to make sure they're in good shape before we actually go through with changing them. And there is a difference between the intake and the exhaust. As you can see here, it is labeled EXT and INT. So you got your exhaust and your intake. Intake is gray and your exhaust is black. So this will be our intake, and this will be our exhaust. So let's start with the intake, since we know it's in rough shape. And it seems to be in a sealed bag, so maybe we'll just poke it through just a little bit, like Get this right here. Okay, so we're about 11 ohms on that one, which is much better than milliohms. Let's check the exhaust. And I do believe there's a different resistance on the exhaust side, but it's in the neighborhood. I think it was like 14, 15, something like that. Okay, so we're in good shape. I think I'm gonna go ahead and change both since I have both. I just wanted to show you real quick how to do the resistance check and verify whether or not they were in good shape. So right now I'm just gonna go ahead and swap these out. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start with the intake camshaft solenoid. Never replaced one of these, so I'm not sure what we're dealing with here. So I do see an O-ring right here, and I'm going to assume that that's kind of what's holding this up, and it's just going to be a little pop. Okay, I guess that's all it needed was a solid should have thought this through a little bit better. So I'll go ahead and drop this through here. Alright, this one appears to stick up a little bit more than the factory. Okay, so tightening this up did draw that down, so that's good. Probably just pulled the O-ring down into that hole. Now, like I mentioned before, this one was the only bad one, but I do have the pair, so I'm going to go ahead and change this one. So maybe the flathead is the trick, and it'll just pop right up. I was pushing on this to try to keep even pressure on it. That appeared to be somewhat successful. Alright, so I was trying to mimic the torque that it took to get them off. They were not in there very tight. So at this point I'm just going to plug these back in. And I think we can put the rest of the engine cover back on and make sure everything's all plugged in, good to go. that repair should be done. We will go ahead and start the car, run diagnostics, and see if we have cleared that code. I did go ahead and clear the codes and reran them, and here's what we got. We've got O2 heater control circuit bank 1 sensor 1 and heater control circuit bank 1 sensor 2, mass airflow sensor circuit low frequency, and evap 0443. So I'm going to do a little checking on this. I might pull the mass airflow sensor and clean it. I've got some mass airflow sensor cleaner. Put it back and see if I can clear that one up. I'm going to go ahead and start there. So here's one interesting thing about these. You can see all this buildup. Of course, I think I pulled this from when I pulled it out of that little hole that it was in, but there's a buildup on this middle section right there, and it's even on the exhaust side, and I'm not sure what that is on the inside of the engine. Maybe I should take a magnet to that, but anyway, I thought that was kind of strange. Thought I'd show it to you. But now I'm gonna move on with some more troubleshooting on this car.